Hi book friends, welcome back to Books and Tea Time, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Addie, and today we're doing a very amazing, exciting video. I have literally been planning this video for like 4 or 5 days. I actually already recorded it once, but I'm terrible at using my new camera. I've had it for like a month now and I still make stupid mistakes all the time, so this is actually my second time recording this, but it's fine. I don't even care. I'm just so excited to edit and post this video that I was just like, you know what, we're gonna run it back. Today we are talking about my blackathon TBR. Blackathon is a month-long readathon on the book community platforms, various platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and it was created and is hosted by Jessie from Bowties and Books here on YouTube and on Instagram. I think it's also Bowties and Books, yes. The whole point of Blackathon is to read Black narratives by Black authors and to support them and just engage with Black literature, Black creativity, Black thought during the entire month of February, which is Black History Month. This is my first time participating in Blackathon in February. However, I did participate in Queer Blackathon in June this past summer, which was like the June version where you read authors who identify as Black and are members of the LGBT plus community. And that was really fun. I really loved it, and I just am the biggest fan of Jessie's channel. If you don't follow Jessie of Bowties and Books, please pause this video, go subscribe to their channel, and watch their content. Also, I'm going to say you should probably watch their announcement video either before you watch the rest of this video or right after, because they include a lot more information about the readathon that I'm probably gonna miss just because there's so much going on and it's great, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of everything that you possibly can and that Jessie gets the credit that they deserve. You can tell how much thought they put into it, and I just really am excited to participate and to talk it up all over my platform. I dressed up for this video because Jessie always has outfits and looks and vibes that are just the next level. They have a fashion channel, I believe, as like a second channel, and they wear bow ties all the time, so obviously Bowties and Books, that's their thing, is they wear bow ties. They have such fashion sense, you know, and I don't, but I wanted to embody Jessie's vibe as much as I could for this video, so I went with a blazer, and I've got a Star Wars shirt underneath, admittedly, but yeah, this was my attempt at getting fancy. They have so many incredible videos. Their content, you could just tell how much effort and creativity and energy just bursts forth in their videos. They've got really great vlogs. Specifically, they have Black Girl Magic reading vlogs, but also they have a tendency to group their vlogs based on genre or like some kind of theme in the books that they're reading for that week. They include puppy content in their vlogs. They have this really adorable dog named Akasha that I absolutely love, and she's just hilarious to watch. They also do a lot of really good cooking and makes me hungry. Another common type of video that they have on their channel is they do positivity videos where they partner with a tea subscription company called Sips By, and for every tea that they unbox, they shout out either a bookish creator or a bookish company, and just spreading positive energy into the book community. It's just next level content. That's my gushing about Jessie moment, so I'm going to pause on that now. Blackathon takes place during the entire month of February, and there are challenges for Instagram, challenges for Twitter, and challenges for YouTube that you can do. I'm going to pull up the Google Doc on my phone. So in the description box of Jessie's announcement video, there's a Google Doc link with all of this information really nicely laid out for you. So I'm just going to be reading from that to make sure that I hit a bunch of the important things. But basically the things you need to know are it takes place during the entire month of February, but there are special challenges for Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube that take place between the 13th and the 19th. There are daily challenges that you can do on those various platforms to, you know, promote your team, because the second thing I'm going to tell you is there are 3 teams, and you can choose which team that you want to be on, and that team has 4 specific prompts for how you organize your TBR. Each of the 3 teams has a YouTube host and an Instagram host. So the 3 teams are Contemporary Literature and Nonfiction, which is hosted by Bookish Realm on YouTube and Book of Sins on Instagram. The Thriller and Horror team, which is hosted by Nina of Wandering Reader and Chanel of Chanel Time on Instagram, and Jessie on YouTube, because Jessie kind of took over this team, I guess, this year, as it is the newest team to be added. And then the last team, which is the team that I ultimately chose, is Science Fiction and Fantasy, and it's hosted by the Novel Lush on YouTube and Starla Reads on Instagram. I'll have all of the links to all of those wonderful bookish creators down below, so you guys can follow them and, you know, pick what team you want to be on based on all of that different information. I chose the science fiction fantasy team because ultimately I am a fantasy reader. That's the genre that I read the most, just because it's the genre I enjoy the most. That being said, I could have easily been on any of these teams. I just was really intrigued by the prompts and the idea of fantasy. Also, this year, Jessie decided on a theme for the entirety of Blackathon, and the theme is traveling or the traveler. So that is kind of something you want to have in mind while you're picking all of your books, but also there are specific prompts for each team that you also have to follow, and you can like double up on books and be really creative with it, which is really great. Outside of school reading, I'm committed to only reading literature by Black authors during the month of February. So all of these books I will be tackling, that I am about to mention, I will be engaging with and reading during the month of February. Just a couple other things I want to highlight before I go into my TBRs. There are going to be movie watch-alongs on Instagram and Twitter. There are going to be blackout dates on Instagram and Twitter where Black folks can post a selfie with their hashtag, and those dates are listed here on this Google Doc. Instagram and YouTube challenges, as I said, but there's also an emerging Black author contest, so if you are a Black author, definitely check that out and see about posting some of your stuff through that. For the sake of keeping this video reasonable, I'm only going to read the challenges for Team Science Fiction and Fantasy, but again, all the information, if you want to be on a different team, is included in this Google Doc. This Google Doc also has a bunch of recommendations of books by Black authors in various genres too. Without further ado, I think I'm just gonna dive into talking about the books. For Team Science Fiction Fantasy, as I said, there are 4 prompts, and each prompt is named for a Black author who embodies that prompt or whose work has really shaped that particular prompt. The first challenge for Team Sci Fi Fantasy is called Rita Woods. A character traverses in a realm or heavenly bodies, and it includes Black spirituality or spiritualism. So for this one, I am choosing a book that has been on my TBR for like since summer, basically, and that is Conjure Woman by Afia Adakora. And Jessie actually just posted a video today saying that this is on their Black Girl Magic TBR for 2021. I am so excited for this book. It sounds amazing. I mean, can we just take a moment to appreciate the cover? It's gorgeous. I love the floral imagery. This book is a multi-generational story that takes place in the South of America before, during, and after the Civil War. And we follow 3 women and their experience with healing, conjuration, and the occult. So I'm going to read the little blurb on the inside here. It says, a mother and daughter with a shared talent for healing and conjuring curses are at the heart of this dazzling first novel. Richly imagined, brilliantly researched, magnificently written, Conjure Woman moves back and forth in time to tell the haunting story of Rue, Verena, and May Bell, their passions and friendships, and how far they will go to save themselves and those that they love. First of all, one of my favorite tropes is multi-generational stories or things that jump back and forth in time. I also have spent a lot of time in undergrad classes studying witches and occultism and the presentation of women as monstrous and oppressing women and accusing them of witchcraft and treating the magic and beauty and creative power of women as a threat to heteropatriarchal society. So I'm very excited to read this. I feel like I've said that like 600 times, but I'm freaking excited, so I'm gonna keep saying it. The second prompt is called Tade Thompson. A Black protagonist encounters an alien civilization or alien technology. I'm really excited for this prompt because I kind of just started getting into sci-fi more in the sci-fi side of science fiction and fantasy. And I'm really looking forward to reading more sci-fi, and this prompt encouraged me to pick up a book that has been on my radar for a while, and a book that I know Jessie really, really loves and has spoken very highly of, so I'm excited to be reading this, and that is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. I'm a little disappointed because I ordered it from Half Price Books online, and I was really, really, really hoping that I was gonna get the copy or the edition, which I think it's either Fairy Loot or Illumicrate did it, but they have a cover that is all purple and it has purple sprayed edges, and purple is my favorite color, so I was really, really hoping that that was the edition that I was gonna get, but I didn't, so I got the Book of the Month edition instead. I just wanted to make that a disclaimer because I don't have a Book of the Month subscription. So this story is about a young girl named Kara, and from what I understand is this explores the possibility of like multiple worlds or a multiverse, and people have this ability to travel to other worlds which they do not exist in. So either they died or they never existed in that world, they can travel there. And that is a very valuable ability to have because like the government and I think some like or maybe a scientific organization sends people to those worlds to investigate them, and our protagonist in this book has died in 273 of all the possible worlds that there are. The blurb on this one says, an outsider who can travel between worlds discovers a secret that threatens her new home and her fragile place in it, in a stunning sci-fi debut that that's both a cross-dimensional adventure and a powerful examination of identity, privilege, and belonging. I I just can't wait. I really love multiverse stories. Next. The third prompt is Octavia E. Butler. Time travel is a major component of this story. And for this one, I am going to be reading a book by Octavia Butler, which is Kindred. I don't have my copy yet because 3 of the books on my blackathon TBR I ordered from a black-owned bookstore in the Bronx called the Lit Bar. I've been ordering from them for a couple months now, and I absolutely love them. I get the books from there through Bookshop, which also takes part of your payment and donates it to local bookstores, which I just love that idea of being able to support bookstores that aren't even near me, as well as supporting the bookstores that are near me. And I don't know too much about Kindred other than it involves time travel. From what I understand, it's a woman who lives in the present, a black woman who lives in the present, is called back in time to is called back in time by someone else who needs her help, but that person lives in America during the height of chattel slavery in America. She keeps getting called back in time, and that's really all I know about it, but I've heard nothing but incredible, incredible things about Octavia Butler. So many of my peers from school have recommended her. I've had professors recommend her writing, and it's been on my TBR for way too long, so I'm super excited to have a challenge that is pushing me to pick it up. Awesome. The fourth and final challenge is to read a group book, and the group book for the SFF team is The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull, and I'm going to pull up the description on Goodreads because, again, I'm waiting to get this copy from the Lit Bar in the mail, and I don't remember much of what it's about. I know it's set in the Virgin Islands. The lesson explores the nature of belief, the impact of colonialism, and asks how far we are willing to go for progress. Breaking Ground is one of the first science fiction novels set in the Virgin Islands. The Lesson is not only a thought-provoking literary work delving deeply into allegorical themes of colonialism, but also vividly draws the community of Charlotte Amalie, wherefrom the author hails. Basically, there's like this alien ship floating above the Virgin Islands, and a particularly advanced alien race is interacting with humanity. Really, really looking forward to that one. It sounds fascinating. More aliens, more sci-fi, just all of the exciting science fiction fantasy vibes that you can possibly conjure up. It's great. In addition to the 4 prompts that Jessie wrote for the challenge, I thought that I would add a couple just to really push myself to read as much as I can this month, but also because Jessie also created their own TBR card game, and each of these cards has a prompt on it that is meant to help you read diversely and also just to be more creative and to have fun pulling TBR cards and picking out your TBR. and so I got this in the mail a couple of days ago, and when I got it, I pulled 3 of the cards, and then of those 3, I picked one that I thought I could find in my physical TBR, because as much as I love buying books, I have so many books that I haven't read yet, and I chose the next level card, which is to read a sequel, and for this I am going to be reading The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. So this is the second book in a series. It's the sequel to The Rage of Dragons, which is the first book in the Burning trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. This is a war-centered fantasy story. It's epic. It's amazing. I'm not going to tell you too much about the plot because it is the second book in a series and I don't want to spoil it, but I do have a review of The Rage of Dragons that I'll link in a card, and a vlog where I read it if you want more details about how I feel about that book. Spoiler alert, I love it. I don't know if I'll finish it this month, but I really wanted to prioritize getting a good chunk of this read because I pulled a card. So this is the unofficial 5th book on my TBR. However, the fun does not stop there. So those are the 5 books that I'm dedicated to starting and finishing in February. That being said, I have a couple extra on my list here, just for fun, that I want to have available if I am fortunate enough to read all of these. So I have 2 nonfiction and then a collection that I want to talk about. So the first one is, I'm actually currently reading Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. I'm only 30 pages in, but I like to always have a nonfiction going so that I can have educational literature flowing in as much as the fiction that I'm reading at such a high volume. And this is my most recent choice for nonfiction, and I have been really, really enjoying it. Kendall does a great job of pointing out the issues that mainstream white feminism tends to exclude from their agenda and how that really affects women of color and why all these issues should be a mainstream feminist issue. And so I'm really enjoying this, but I'm only 30 pages in. So this is one of the ones that I want to read this month and finish this month. And then also the 3rd book that I got from the Lit Bar is Mediocre by Ijoma Oluo. I mean, it's absolutely perfect for this political climate, if we're being honest. And I fell in love with Oluo's writing over the summer when I read So You Want to Talk About Race. She does an excellent job of helping to promote healthy and mindful conversations about race, specifically for white people who may not understand how to have conversations about race that don't put unhealthy expectations on Black people. And I've been following her on Instagram. She has really great makeup looks that have inspired me to experiment with color and shine, and she's just a really wonderful person. So you should go follow her and read those books. But I'm very interested in reading Mediocre, so I just bought it for myself while I was shopping because I have no control. Last, but certainly not least, I am going to be reading excerpts from the Portable 19th Century African American Women's Writers Collection. So for my degree and just as an English literature major, I had spent a lot of time in the 19th century, but I have not spent a lot of time with African and African American writers from this time period, and that's an oversight that I want to address. So I've selected a couple from the early 1800s that I want to read first, because I have been dealing a lot with Romanticism in the early 18th century, or in the early 19th century, in the past few semesters in particular. So I'm going to read those this month, and then I'll update you guys on how I feel about them and like what I like about them, things like that. And then I'm going to pick probably some from like the middle and kind of go forward in time because they're not organized chronologically. So that is my TBR for Blackathon 2021. Comment down below if you're participating, what team you're on, and what your TBR is, what books that you're reading, and especially comment down below if you're on the science fiction fantasy team, because I want to, get a conversation going with my teammates about what everyone's reading and just, chat about books, because that's what all of this is about, right? That's what Booktube is for. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be vlogging during the middle of February from the 13th to the 19th when all of the challenges are to take place. So I'll be vlogging that experience, but I'll also be updating all of my reading and my thoughts on the books that I read on my Instagram, which is linked in the description box, so be sure to follow me there. Like, comment, and subscribe if that's your jam, and I'll see you in my next video. Happy reading, happy writing, and happy living. Bye!